Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the biggest Blitzwing fanboy of them all. Do not panic. This is just a random review.
Before we begin, thank you very much to TJOmega YouTube channel, now with 4 stars on Yelp, for joining the Patreon campaign. Why did I only get 4 stars? Why did I only get 4 stars? I've been on time literally over 800 days in a row. That's what else can I do? But thank you very much for the support. Always appreciated, guys. We are very, very close to hitting the 50,000 subscriber mark here on the channel, which is extremely exciting. It should be more exciting for you because once we hit that, I'm giving away a Transformer toy valued at almost $200. I'm not kidding around on this. I'm going to celebrate it big. So, if you want that to happen, if you haven't hit the subscribe button before, please hit it now. I would really love to hit that very, very soon so we can do that giveaway and make someone out there happy. So, thank you for the support. We will march on. So, today we are looking at a warrior class, well, deluxe class. It feels warrior class sometimes, but no. So, Earthspark has blessed me with a character named Nightshade, who, if you know, I enjoy greatly. However, there's a lot of people who don't. If you don't, and you still somehow clicked on this video, I don't care what you have to say, leave. Your comment won't be seen, you will be blocked, etc., etc. So let's keep it civil. If it's not your cup of tea, just go away. We're going to sit here and enjoy this metallic owl for a bit. So, from the deluxe line of Transformer Earthspark figures, Nightshade is a really, really interesting figure. When the character was first shown with a beast mode in the show, I think everyone was really confused about how they would actually make this super slender character into like a bulky winged owl. And it's done pretty well for what it has to work with. We understand. These Cyberverse Deluxes are a little bit cheaper than your standard generations and studio series, so they're not going to have exactly the same functionality. And they're not going to have exactly the same solidity, for lack of better terminology. But I think for what they had to work with, it's actually pretty well done. So you're seeing a toy done up in multiple shades of green. Now, if you know me, anything done up in more than one shade of green is automatically going to be a win for me. So this is always a welcome sight, especially the metallic. The metallic on this is really, really nice. Really loving it. I love the overall look in general. Owls are such an atypical beast mode for us to get. Bird Transformers are always eagles, hawks, they're birds of prey. Owls are birds of prey too, but it's very rare we get them. To my knowledge, I think this is only the second one, and we haven't gotten one since the late 90s. So kind of cool that we finally got one now. And in a fun and interesting character, no less. So the answer to how they actually accomplish the beast mode is pretty simple. The bulk of the legs become the back, which is actually pretty solid. You could obviously see where you could close it up a little bit more, but it's not bad for the price. And then on the front, yeah, it's the robot mode arms making the belly. It's not the most accurate, but it's about the cleanest job they could do given the limitations of the design. It doesn't mean he has this unsightly gap inside the middle, but, you know, like I said, we'll take what we can. Again, I'm grading this on a curve, realizing it's a budgeted toy, but it's still very good for what it is. So, design-wise, it's looking very, very nice. I like the really sharp eyes. Replicates that metallic, statuesque owl pretty well. You do have a full head rotation in this mode, which, of course, you're going to need because, you know, it's an owl. But along with that, the wings are actually surprising. They are on ball joints, which could stand to be a little bit tighter in some poses, but for the most part, will do pretty much whatever you want. And that includes being folded down to the side, so you can display Nightshade perched. I always like when my bird Transformers actually remember to do that. So, bird mode, pretty nice all the way around. It doesn't have to do much, but it does what it needs to do pretty well. So, let's get him transformed. Let's get them transformed. Apologies. And let's see what the robot mode can do for us. So for starters, I'm going to undo the arms on the belly. Fold them out like that. On the wings, go ahead and work the legs out of the back. They peg in up here, so undo that part first. Unfold as we stretch them out. Feet on the underside are going to have feet as well as heel spurs. Make sure all that gets folded out pretty well. All right, back to the front. I'm going to rotate the legs around like so. All right, with the arms now completely out of the way. The easiest part of the transformation, and the part where we thought a lot of this would get mixed up. Where does the owl head go in such a slender body? Well, it becomes the body. That's a really clean and efficient way of doing it that I think we didn't even think of. So yeah, it's a pretty simple transformation. Not a whole lot to it. Comes together pretty nice. And you end up with a fairly show-accurate representation of Nightshade. I mean, yeah, a more complex transformation would be nice. Something that might, hide the robot mode arms a little bit better. But again, we are working within limitations. Drinking game. How many times do I say that during the course of this video? I just want to keep it in mind. Because, yeah, this is as good as Earthspark gets. Toy-wise, at least. Hopeful that we get more. Because now, hey, Generations is doing crazy things. But for what we got going on here, not too bad, not too bad. You end up with a really slender and clean robot. The only real kibble left on this toy is going to be the bird feet that are hanging off the forearms. Everything after that is pretty much spot on what I would expect. Now, the one big aspect of this is the wings, because those are not show accurate. Now, you can pop them off the ball joints, or, because they are a rubberized plastic, you can undo the peg from here and then just kind of shimmy off the wing on the peg and then just fold it to the back. And that's going to give you a far cleaner, far more show accurate look. I happen to like the look of the wings in the robot mode. I think that's just traditional at this point for a Transformer to just have their wings exposed at all times. But for what this does, yeah, you have the option. And the options are always great. And yes, as I said, the wings, it's a rubberized plastic, but the parts are so big that I'm not really concerned about them warping or bending. They feel fine. The head, on the other hand, is also rubberized, which is fine in this case because, well, one, it still looks pretty nice, and really it's only the ears. Now, those big sharp ears on Nightshade, that actually makes a whole lot of sense because those would be very easy to break if they fell, if they were made of solid plastic. Looking over, the robot mode face done pretty well. Very wide-eyed. I could stand with a little bit more of a better expression, just so they don't look so stoic. Because that's not really how I imagine Nightshade. So it's what it is, but it's still not a bad head sculpt. You can see the shoulders have been painted in that really nice, like, minty metallic green. Looking good. It's got the star crest on the chest. A little bit of more of that green on the thighs and the waist. Just nice all the way around. You got some black around the feet. Decent little amount of paint, especially when you consider how much metallic paint went into the wings. So not too bad. Not too bad for an Earthspark Deluxe. Deco, pretty good. I also like an extra shade of green here. Same green that's on the eyes, now on the forearms to replicate the energy feather effect that they have in the show. Now, we talk articulation, it's not too bad for what you get. So, head, 360-degree rotation. It's on a ball joint, so it has a little bit of up and down too. Ball jointed shoulders mean universal movement all the way around. The shoulder guard is attached, so will lead to some weirdness in the poses, but not too bad. Full bicep rotation, as well as 90-degree elbows. Nothing at the wrist, unfortunately, but nothing at the waist either. Thighs ball jointed, a little bit restricted going outward, but still decent range of motion. Swivel just above the knee, and then very deep knee bend. Very deep knee bend. You're also getting your now traditional ankle tilt to help balance poses as well. It's also important to mention on figures like this, There is a 3mm port on the backside of the pelvis, which means you can attach a flight stand and get some nice flight poses out of Nightshade, which you're definitely going to need to make that beast mode really shine. So yeah, decent posability. Decent posability. Not quite as much as a Generations Deluxe, but, you know, good for what you're getting. Again, limitations. Take a drink. Yeah, just to show off, I do have my Air Razor over here. Air Razor is kind of smallish for a Deluxe, but you can definitely see the difference in the bulk and complexity of the two toys. That's where your price point comes in play. You know, that's where the extra $5 off of Nightshade ends up. But, you know, I still think it did a pretty good job. Still happy with it. Oh yeah, we can accessorize too. So, Nightshade, completely against, I think, their demeanor in the show, is accessorized with a pair of twin daggers, which are serrated, which is pretty nasty for a character who is more about artistic and technological expression. So it does make for a little bit of a more intimidating stance than I would normally expect from Nightshade. But you know what? It's at least fun. I like twin daggers as an accessory. They do give you a few decent options. You know, they can reverse one, so we can do the Ahsoka thing. So, all that said, Nightshade, how did they turn out? Like I said, and like I'm going to keep reminding you, the toy has limitations because of its price point and toy line. But with what they had to work with, I think it's probably one of the better examples from the Deluxe series. It's very well designed. You know, it cleans up a lot of what we feared in the owl mode and the conversion. And it's got enough paint to keep me interested in the overall look of the figure. And it's just a really nice representation of a very interesting character. So, that's the opinion on Nightshade. I'm going to say it again, keep it civil in the comments, because I don't mind removing you for doing otherwise. But I know most of you are chill, you know, about as chill as Nightshade is, right? So, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
We parlay with the captain.
You think a werecroc is going to listen to elvish rules of piracy?
Of course it would be the freaking elves
Cool.
that invented parlay.
I had to think of a quick replacement for the French.
Oh.